Man,
Too much
work.
software. There we go.
What's up? What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your man J Kev here, one more again with my cohort, my co-host, my partner in life, live streaming. I know I had to fix it up real quick. My partner in life, live streaming,
Yeah.
Leif Taylor. We're just having our regular, normal conversation around all things health, wealth, relationships, and purpose, and everything in between. And you name it, we'll touch on it. That's just how we roll. Just as long as we put a positive spin on it, by the end of the conversation, it's all good. That's we aim to drop a little pebble of positivity as you scroll along the the social webs and kind of just check things out. So, what's up with you, Leif? How things going on over there?
Things are going well, my brother. Just trying
Cool.
to make a living like everybody else.
I thought this is your word. I'm just trying to, I'm just a squirrel, man. Just trying to get, just trying to get one of those
Um,
acorns.
yeah, I'm trying to move to another planet, so it's definitely not my world.
Well, with the way things are going with the pipeline shutdowns and all this and that, I don't think he's going to have enough fuel, brother.
It was funny though. Our mutual friend Robert Johnson, he actually posted that the pipelines weren't shut down at all. It was
Really?
a computer. It was a computer hack,
So what does that mean
meaning
exactly? I
that
mean,
it was
did the computer hack stop the pipeline or what?
no. They just thought it was because of the hack. I guess the way the hack told them. I'm reporting this secondhand, so don't take my word
Right,
for it.
right.
But yeah, there was no shortage of gas or anything like that. So
Really?
basically, gas stations just took advantage of the news.
So what about some of the headlines? This station or whatever is out of gas.
The
One I saw
computer
one that
glitch.
said, okay, well, I guess we're
Again,
just
it's
gonna keep
secondhand because I don't even look at the news. So I don't even leave my
right,
house. So
right. Well, I didn't go into too much detail to it. I just kind of just touched on it. After I seen where somebody had posted, it does not affect where we're at. So I was like, okay. I mean, I'll keep
uh,
an eye on it because you just never know how these things, may not directly affect you, but
oh yeah,
indirectly, things have a way of just touching everybody in some way, shape, or form. Which I guess we'll start after talking about. Despite a lot of the troubles and hurdles and things that's been tossed our way, I just want to talk about how to make the most of summertime. Summertime's coming up, and I just want to kind of just touch on some things, some principled tactics, strategies, behaviors, hacks, whatever you want to say, on how to thrive and have fun and make the most of the summertime, seeing that it's coming up. And I'm just picking on summertime because we're shortly going to be in summertime, and I know that for a lot of people, for many people, summertime represents a season of I guess freedom and relaxation for some. I know
yeah,
for
yeah,
others, summertime represents a time of just really like making hay while the sun shines. Putting in that work, gathering up and storing up for the winter.
yeah,
For the
yeah.
autumn, for things to come. So I know, for some, summertime represents a moment, a season, to where it's time to just fill those bags, get the bag. And then for others, it's a time for while you're getting that bag, you want to make sure that you make room, make time for adventure and fun, and make room and time for just to kind of get out in the sun and see what you can get into. So with all that, we started off talking about the pipeline shortage or not shortage, whichever way anybody wants to take that. You're on the internet, so no matter which way you go, somebody's going to have a counter to it, right? Like somebody's going to have to say, "No, you're not right, man. It's not. It's this," and they're going to follow with 100 links. So whichever way you want to take it, just looking at whether it was or wasn't, looking at the uh, the aftermath or the effect of that
Yeah.
and that I'm sure you might have seen some of the
Yeah,
pictures of.
yeah. I'm looking. It said it was a hack, by the way.
Okay,
So anyway,
I'm
go
saying
ahead.
where you've probably seen some of the pictures where people were putting gasolines in like Walmart store bags and putting them in garbage bags.
I have not seen that. That's funny.
Really? Oh man,
No,
yeah. I've
yeah,
seen
man. I've
pictures.
been I've been not focused on the world, so
But yeah, that's what's been going on. So last year it was toilet paper. This year it's gasoline. So who knows what's going to be next? Um, so despite some of the calamities and stuff we may experience, and I know there's many more to come. Just given the way 2020 was and the way things have kind of just escalated since. Who knows what's coming down the pipe? So, what are some things that we can do that you and I can do to make the most of our summer? And I'm just thinking about this from our,
yeah,
health
yeah.
wise, wallet, purse wise, your wealth, relationships, and then also doing something that of purpose, something that speaks to your soul. Your reason for being, your purpose.
Yep.
So, what are
I
some
got
things
I
we can
got
do
an
to make the most of
idea
it?
of just off the top of my head, and this can you hear this a lot, but it is just like diversify. A lot of times you hear it in relationship to like investments and things like that, but even like diversifying your resources, right? Diversifying your dependencies in terms of, okay, if there's a shortage in gas and you can't get gas, then maybe invest in a bike or invest in walking shoes or hiking boots or something like that, right? Diversify your transportation options. Diversify even your health plan, right? COVID, we couldn't go to the gym. Most people in the US, other places of the world, it may vary. Most people in the US, when they want to exercise, they go to a gym. So the gyms are closed. How can you diversify your exercise routine to where you're not dependent upon an establishment to be open in order for you to get your health in, right? Diversify your food resources. Whether it be going to different stores, whether it be going direct to the farm, like my man Kevin, whether it be growing your own food, whether it be, devising a collective in your neighborhood to where everybody looks out for one another. Depending on where you live, some places are more feasible than others. So just diversifying the way you think about getting your food, diversify the way you go about getting your drinking water. Do you have water in storage, or do you have ways to clean your water if the sewage system goes down or anything like that? So that's again top of my mind. How can you make sure you have a productive summer and life going forward is simply to diversify the way you think about just your daily living.
Man, it's interesting you said it because the other day I posted something, a verse out of Ecclesiastes talking about, oh man, having. I'm just paraphrasing.
Yeah, yeah,
Having multiple seeds or having multiple investments out and working um, from morning to sun. We don't know which one you put out is going to prosper.
yeah,
Yeah, and that, diversification is another way of putting it, like you said. And like you said, we often think of it in financial terms or economical terms, but also if you could apply that same principle across any area of your life,
yeah.
and it would be some
Everything.
good. And another way of saying it is putting some redundancy in your life. I'm getting an echo on your side. I don't know if you can hear it. Uh, yeah, putting some diversity, or what am I saying? I forgot what I was saying. What word I used?
You said redundancy.
Yeah, redundancy. Yeah, but redundancy helps when it comes to like being prepared.
Yeah,
And like you said, one of the strategies or tactics, or one of the things that I implement or I learned to implement in my life with respect to food was I started going directly, getting as close to the source as I could. Just
yep,
realizing having starting my career out in the big box store and working for a lot of food chains and stuff. I don't know, man. Just slowly, I just started realizing how fragile the systems that we have in place, how fragile they really are, and just seeing how the response to the breakdown of when the things in our systems that we have, just seeing a response time and time again. I started seeing patterns, and just slowly but surely, I started coming to the realization of it's best when it comes to your health, when it comes to your wallet, when it comes to just everything, every area in your life, is to get as close to the sources of the things that you use in your life as you can, and then also diversifying, having multiple places of being able to pull from as far as resources, not just with respect to food, but also, like you said, people.
Yeah.
And one of the things we ought to talk about is having a network and having relationships and doing your best to live peaceably as you possibly can, with all men.
Yeah.
I know it's not possible, and it's one of those things that you can't always make happen, but it's just best to do what you can while you can with what you can,
Yeah, agreed.
especially with relationships.
And be very strategic about it. And that's not to say in terms of being manipulative toward people, but just be strategic on who you have friends with. We talk about like planned communities and things like that, right? When you plan a community, or what are they called? Purpose community. I forgot the term. Intentional communities.
Intentional communities.
My wife has been real big into that for years. Intentional communities. And so you just want to plan to have a diversified skill set within that community in case things go wrong, so you don't become too dependent upon one given person in any relationship or any community. And so you want to diversify, who you include, why you include them, because again, everybody in your life serves a different purpose in terms of how they relate to you, right? You have some friends. My wife is different than my relationship with my wife is different than my relationship with my kids versus my relationship with my mother, my brother, my friends. And my friends in one industry are different than my relationships of friends in another industry, and so on and so forth. So you want to diversify that because one, just like I was mentioning with talking about Robert Johnson, the fact that, I called him a watchman, the fact that he's on top of this stuff, that means that I don't have to be, so to speak, right? And this, because you can't learn everything and you can't be focused on everything at the same time. Yeah. So you have to diversify that. Like for me, all the political information in my house comes through my wife because she's into that. I'm not so much into it, so I don't focus my energies or my attention on that. If there's things that affect our household, she lets me know. Right. And so just diversifying your information sources, just seeing, we always talk about verifying and things like that. But even beyond just verification, there's different sources of information that you may need. Right. One day I may need to learn about bee colonies. Right now, it doesn't seem to affect my life, but who knows? Right. So diversify your knowledge and your skill set. Because, again, to me, your skill set is just like investing in your finances. So diversify your skill set to where you can do a variety of different things. They can all be tangential or close in relationship, but at least have a diversity in the kinds of things that you can do. So that way you're not dependent or too dependent upon one given industry, because that industry may or may not collapse. So just think about those kinds of things, and you don't have to be an expert overnight or anything like that. But diversifying your relationships will allow you to think about topics and understand perspectives that you may not have ever thought about before.
Yeah, that definitely helps. And one of the ways to do that is keeping your emotions in check. When you were talking about relationships and talking about, some people you may not totally get along with, but if you can keep your emotions in check and you can keep things civil and keep them amicable and keep them at a point to where you both can be beneficial to each other. So I mean, I'm just sticking on that because I know that that's a hurdle that many people encounter and have to get over. And just me personally, that's one of the things I realized getting older is that you don't have to burn bridges.
It's not necessary.
Burning bridges is not necessary. And oftentimes when you burn a bridge, it's at an emotional, heightened state. And then when you come down, it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have burnt that bridge, because I might have to go back that way. So just thinking about relationships and how one of the I guess principal things you could do is kind of leave or have situations to be civil and amicable and peaceable, so that you never know when you'll have to come around. If you live long enough, you'll have to come back around that mountain.
Yeah, that is one thing that I learned at a very early age is because I've had a ton of mentors tell me that it's like don't burn bridges, and again for me, the way I even look at that is just I try to treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I give everybody, unless they prove otherwise, a measure of respect, right? I don't, in the scriptures, it talks about, not looking lofty or highly on others above other people kind of thing. And so, whether you're a homeless guy or you're the billionaire businessman, I try to treat you with the same amount of respect. Right. And so just doing that allows you to, well, me specifically, it allows me just to approach people as people and leave it at that. Right. And so that helps in terms of building relationships. It helps in terms of, seeking to get understanding from people. You can make all kinds of assumptions, but, is better. I was looking for a quote that Nancy Duyon, I watched a program with her on it. Shout out to Nancy. And she said, instead of turn your assumptions into questions, and so you don't bring a bias into the conversation or into the situation. You just ask questions, right? Stay curious. I know Kevin, he's a curious person. He'll ask questions until the end of eternity. And honestly, I do the same thing. What do you say?
I ask the same question in many different ways.
Yeah, I do the same thing because it's like if I want to understand something, I have to ask questions. I have to make sure I understand it from the vantage point or understand the person from their own vantage point, right? And so doing that allows for me to not be a conflict with a lot of people at any given time.
I'm smiling because, when you being a curious person, you often encounter personalities and people who don't have the patience of a teacher. So sometimes people without teacher patience get real short with you.
Well, so what I do, and this is I guess a life hack. What I always do is I give people a warning up front, especially when people come to me, they want to know something specific, because I can't. And this is the way my mind thinks. I can't answer a question unless I know the full totality of where it's going. And so I'll warn people. I'll be like, hey, I ask a whole lot of questions. So before we get started, I'm going to just let you know. So you don't get frustrated because I'll question every single thing that you're discussing, every single thing that you're talking about, and why you're doing it and what made you think this would work and all of that kind of stuff. So,
I can ask you a question and you ask a question. Like, I'm asking you a question. Why are you questioning me?
Answer me first.
Like, dang, man. This ain't no interrogation, man. I'm trying to get some answers.
Yeah, and so that's definitely I'm the same way, but it helps me just get perspective on people, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get frustrated in terms of contentious situations. Everything is not contentious, and we're not trying to imply that. But in order to avoid contentious situations,
it helps
having an understanding or at least trying to get some fathom or some percentage of perception of how somebody thinks about things or maybe their background, things that you may not consider at surface level. And so I try to do that as much as possible. Of course, I fall short in some areas, but I try to make that a practice when I'm talking with people or when I'm meeting new people. I just meet them where they are, kind of thing, and let it go from there.
One of the things I learned from you when we used to have like Bible classes and stuff in the morning, it's like off top, whatever we're talking about, you like define the terms. What are we talking about? Define everything the way we want to get everything out in the open, so we all be on some common ground and have the same, we have the same approach to whatever we're talking about. So
because the diversity, like in backgrounds, is real. We live in close proximity, but the way things are done and said in Georgetown are very different from the way they're done and said here, and we're only 15 minutes apart. Right. And so those things are huge. And oftentimes, if you don't define, what you're talking about up front, you may be on the same wavelength as somebody else, but because you talk differently, you just may clash because you all don't understand one another's premise or the language, you know what I'm saying? In the way, the vernacular that's common to you versus someone else. So there's all different kinds of things that you want to get clarity on as much as possible, because you'll miss some stuff, right? And until you start getting some clarity on those kinds of things, then it's going to be very hard to come to a common ground simply based off of the way you perceive words.
And when it comes to summertime, which is what we're sort of talking about, and how to make the best of it, summertime and relationships during the summer, one of the practices that we're talking about is really just taking the time to understand, like you said, turning your assumptions into questions and spending a lot of time. I noticed when you do approach a conversation from first, let's establish, the terms and define stuff. You spend most of it.
I said the rules of engagement.
The rules of engagement. When you start off like that, when that's your principal way of doing something, which is to approach a relationship from a place of trying to get understanding, that alleviates so much potential, conflict and stuff that could be there if you just have a conversation like, "What are you talking about?" Well, what am I talking about? Then repeat what we're talking. You go back and forth, and then get into the issue.
Yeah, it helps and is very necessary. I mean, I even do it with my wife sometimes, right? It's like, okay, let's figure out what we're talking about, and not only that, but even like in a given relationship, just make sure that it's established that the questions I'm asking or the things I'm asking have nothing to do with the way I perceive you, right? Yeah. Sometimes people can take that in a way that they think you're judging them, and it's like, no, I'm just trying to get I have no idea. I'm trying to get questions answered. And so when you let people know, like, for example, I'll give a real life example. Like when I talk to my daughters, like I'm like, come here, they're like, did I do something wrong? Right. That's the kid's first response. Like, what did I do? Like, you didn't do anything. Why are you assuming that just because you're assuming that you did something wrong? It's like,
because you might have caught me.
I don't exactly. I don't understand that. And so just establishing, just those kinds of things up front, make it a whole lot easier to have a conversation, even when working with people. It's like, okay, just establish that, depending on the hierarchies or whatever the established relationships are within any given work environment, if you're clear on what your intentions are up front, then there's really going to be less conflict. Because like, okay, these are my goals, these are my intentions. It's really just about being transparent in a lot of ways. A lot of people want to be, sly and, covert when there's no need to be covert. Just be as transparent as humanly possible and discuss those things up front, not down the road, but up front, so everybody's clear on the path going forward, because sometimes there may be a real conflict up front. And if you can establish that early, then it can, then you may or may not go ahead in developing their relationship, because some things are deal breakers up front, and if you establish that is and it's not even something to take personal. It's like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, right?
Right.
It's like this kind of relationship will not work. We can be acquaintances, we can say hi, we can do all kinds of things, but don't take it personal if it doesn't work.
Man, you make me think of I've been watching 90 Day Fiance, and it's
I
like,
haven't seen it yet.
well, it's like many seasons now. I don't know how many, but there's like a bunch. But it seems like, in just about every situation, or a lot of the situations on there, it turns out to be what you just said, where everything is not clear on the table, and then a conversation that should have been had from jump gets had, later on down the road, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is a deal breaker type of deal, situation, or this might be a deal breaker. But it's good to have that conversation up front. So it's like, these are my deal breakers. These are things I can, we can work with and see where we go from there. Versus, let's go down the road and then like, hold up, these are my deal breakers.
like for me, and again, this is just my approach to things. If I know something is going to be an established long-term relationship, a partnership, a marriage, specifically marriage, then that's not the time to be coy or just like, reserved in the things that you have opinions about, the way you see your future. No, you have to, because some people is like, man, if I tell them this, then I may lose them. Well, if that's a deal breaker, then you want to tell them anyway, because it's going to come out. It's going to be, there's only so many things you can hide in your life for a long period of time. And it's like, you got to be upfront with a lot of stuff. And so the event that I give an example, don't mean to sound crazy. So the event that I was attending earlier, they were talking about radical honesty. It was like one of the conversations that we were having. And basically radical honesty is just literally just being upfront, being very direct, and not necessarily in a jerkish way, because some people want to use the term truth and honesty just so they can be a jerk. Like, nah, because the real matter of the fact is you're a butthole and you're the problem, not me. And so but they were talking about radical honesty in terms of, if there's an issue, or that you see that this was a future disagreement, and they were talking specifically between a client and service provider relationship, and you have to be very, very honest about what you're doing and expectations. You have to establish those things early, and you have to make sure that those are maintained throughout the process of that relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so I look at like marriage and just a variety, casual relationship, then, it's just casual. You see somebody, you may have a good rapport with them. There's no need to go into deep conversation about your intimate thoughts and all that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about relationships that you foresee lasting in the future, right? Things that are very vital and critical, that if you partner with somebody, then, then them being part of that partnership is a necessity. So you don't want to leave things out that will just ruin that, because it's going to be bad for both of you, not just them, and so you have to really think those things through, be as honest as possible. If you're not an honest person, become one. Because a lot of people just aren't honest. They just aren't. Some people will lie for the sake of lying, and they don't even know why they lie because they do it so often. And so you want to make sure that, we always talk about leveling up. So just to establish some terms, and the level up.
We haven't used that phrase in a while though.
Yeah, I used it for this title. Just make sure that, you level yourself up for the benefit of you. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people miss, is that they think that, they have to be somebody else for become somebody else for other people. No, you want to be a better person for you. You get rid of a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. If you just start being honest about stuff, you don't have to remember how you lied or when you lied, who you lied to, just to make sure all the lies correlate and all those kinds of things. being honest, being transparent, yeah, it honestly takes away a whole lot of stress. It really does. And then the older I get, the more that I realize the old people before me, the reason why they were is because it just eliminated a lot of burdens. It just really does. It's like, okay, this is who I am. What's going on, Ms. Divine? Yeah,
Hey,
and
Devon.
and just doing that is for your sake. And it sounds cliche, but a lot of things that are cliche are tried and true, right? And
Yep.
so you definitely want to, as Devon put it, be yourself. But if you can be as transparent as possible, not everybody needs to know your social security number, but
Right.
being as transparent as possible, man, it just makes life
Easier.
smooth, man. It just does. And so that's just the way I see things.
I think sometimes some older people get that way because they realize they don't have much time to waste. They're like, I got
Yeah,
time for all
yeah,
this.
exactly. And the way I put it is like, there are other more important things for me to put my energies into than to be somebody for you, right? And so there are a whole lot of other problems in the world that need to be solved instead of me pretending to be
Um,
something that I'm not, right? And
me too.
again, this is not to say that, if you are a jerk, you probably need to not be one for your own sake. just from a preservation standpoint, it's like, hey, I've seen plenty of old people die lonely, like
Man,
plenty of,
yeah,
just
yeah.
because they were just hardcore
Mhm.
people, and it's like they died alone. And so you definitely don't want to be that person. If that's how you want to rock, then keep rocking that way, and you'll receive the repercussions of it. But
Yes.
but really try to, as the scripture said that Kevin alluded to, as much as lieth within you, live peaceably with all men. Right? There's going to be extension points, and there's going to be wars, like real wars, and all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But as much as lieth within you, you know, do it to your as much as you can. Live
Just don't be
peaceably with.
ready to pop off like Young Leif. Young
Oh,
Leif was ready to pop off at a moment's notice. But
yeah,
old
Olay
Leif,
too.
he gonna
But
give you
it's just,
two moments.
yeah, it's just like I just understand that I have continents, right? The Bible says be continent in all things. So being continent means you have control over yourself. Being incontinent means you have zero control.
I got no
So
control.
yeah, exactly. So you just
I
want to make
control
sure
his
that you're
hands.
continent.
You want that smoke? His hands right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't type on my computer if I got busted up knuckles, man. So it don't help nobody.
So this is not how you want to go into the summer. You don't want to go into this summer talking about these hands. You can catch these hands. We don't want, we don't want to see you on the TikTok.
Exactly.
We want to see you on TikTok. We want to see you on the Facebooks, on the IGs, just looking good, chilling on vacation with the fam. Everybody's eating good, looking
Enjoying
good,
life.
enjoying life. That's how we want to see you. Because when you like that, then that gives me hope. And then that puts a little joy in my heart. And it's like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. And then when everybody's eating good, ain't nobody trying to, eat off your plate.
Yeah. It's times and seasons for everything. I know you mentioned Ecclesiastes. There's a time for everything, right?
Yeah.
that Toby Ingwe.
She lay hands, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, it's like, just summertime, summer life, energy, sunshine. Like I know I feel way better in the summer than I do any other time of year.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to get out of the house probably twice a week instead of twice a month when it comes summertime. So definitely, again, enjoy life. You have very limited time on this planet, and that's really why we talk about leveling up. You have very little time on this planet. You have very limited time with the people you love, and you don't want to be on your deathbed with regrets.
Yeah.
You don't want to be looking back, wishing that I did this, wishing I said this, all of those kinds of things. And that's the worst thing you can have on your conscience when it comes time to die is regrets. So make sure that you live life as fully as possible, unburden yourself with unnecessary burdens, and really focus on what you want your life to be in the little time that you have.
So one of the things that stuck out when you said it was lightening the load.
Yes,
Letting off some weight as much
yes,
as you can in every area of your life. This summer, just looking for things and to drop off, and looking for fat to trim off.
yep.
More ways than one. I'll be looking to trim off some fat, some pandemic fat. Pounds. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah,
we
I
can call
have
it pandemic pounds, but yeah, I think
too.
think some things got to get back in order for the summertime. Just
Say I
talking about
used to be ripped and now I'm ripping pants.
But yeah, well, let's talk about health a little bit. What are some things that one can do to help get that summertime body, get that summertime energy, get that summertime
Yeah,
vibe.
go outside. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
speaking to myself, right? Just getting outside, because it's no mystery that people that live in warmer places that they tend to be healthy, in terms of they
you're
tend to be
happier.
more fit. Yeah,
Yeah,
because the sunshine provides, was it vitamin D for your body? It
yeah,
provides energy, radiance. It stays light longer. A whole lot of different things that it works with most people's circadian rhythm. And
yes.
that when the lights out, you feel more energized and more vibrant. So take advantage of it. I know I felt way better in California than I did here, just on a consistent basis, because even when it was cold, it was at least still sunny,
Yeah,
right? And so you felt like getting out more often than I do when it's cold here, right?
yeah.
I
I need
mean,
an amusement park body for these kids. My kid. Yeah, yeah. Well, just thinking about that, I was thinking about one of the things that you want to think about is while getting outside, finding ways to get adventure in your
yeah,
life, and going to the amusement park is just one of those ways
yep.
for some people.
Because it gets you walking, it gets you moving, it keeps you from being. I mean, of course, you can choose to be sedentary anywhere, meaning
Yeah,
sitting down and not walking around, that kind of stuff. But take advantage of the sights, right? Take advantage of the things around you. I know, like in different places, it varies. Like, because there's really not a lot of attractions in some places, meaning that
hmm,
there's just a lot of emptiness.
yeah,
So if you have it, the opportunity to be somewhere where you can take look at things, then walk. Like, for example, in Las Vegas, you will walk like a million miles just because of you want to see all the attractions. Right, going through one hotel is probably like walking 2 miles,
oh
with all
man,
the stuff that they have in there. And so you want to go places that can help feed into your fitness. I'll put it that way. Don't stop at a lot of restaurants in between, but just make sure that you do a lot of walking, a lot of sightseeing. Those things are very beneficial for your health. Even getting out to the parks, like most places, well, I can't say most places, but a lot of places have parks, like neighborhood parks, city parks, and they usually have a walking trail perhaps around the park. Take
yeah,
advantage of those. It provides some variety. It helps you get outside. You don't necessarily have to be in close quarters with everybody because COVID and all of that. So just get out and again walk your neighborhood. If you live in a safe neighborhood, not every neighborhood is safe, but if
right.
you live in a safe neighborhood, make sure you get out and walk around your neighborhood. It's an opportunity for you to get healthy and meet your neighbors, right? So do that. Ride a bike. I mentioned bikes earlier. Here locally, we have bike trails. They may not have them where you are, but ride your bike. Just figure out different ways. Maybe get an exercise bike. Put it on your
I
porch.
was thinking about time when you were saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put it on your porch. That way you're outside, right?
you
Just
make me think of
figure out
those
a way to
old
switch it up. Was
make
that?
me think of those old gangster videos where you have the weight bench out front in the yard.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We used to have that in the backyard, like the weight benches and all the weights back on
Yeah,
the pavement.
concrete
Oh
concrete
yeah,
weight all
of
busted up.
course, got to. And so, but yeah, but think about it. It's a way to get outside, right? You don't have to be cooped up in your house, especially if you have a small house. Then get out. Especially if you don't do stuff on the computer, because I do too much stuff on the computer. That's why I keep staying in my house.
Okay, what are some things that we could do when it comes to your wallet or purse that'll help you with as we go into the summer, help you make the most of the summer?
Take advantage of the heat. And what I mean by that is typically when people are out, especially if they're in a park, then you can sell items there. You can just, provide convenience for the heat. That's one way you can make money. And what I mean by that, lawn services. That's providing a convenience for the heat.
True.
Yeah, because I'm not going to get out there and mow my lawn. I just don't. Right. So that's a service, right? Even doing deliveries, not necessarily even just food deliveries, but deliveries of odd kinds, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Maybe you can deliver furniture if you have a truck or something like that. Provide convenience in a way that people will pay for it, because most people don't want to do anything that's inconvenient.
Convenience cost, and somebody's willing to pay.
Convenience is pretty much why apps make money. Literally, they provide a service, and that service is convenience in a variety of different ways, right? So you want to make sure that you figure out new ways to provide convenience for summertime, because again, it stays lighter longer. So you may get off work at a certain time, like say you get off at 4 or 5, you still have 4 hours of daylight left when it's summertime, because it usually doesn't get dark until 9. In most, I know that's the way it is here. I don't, you may live somewhere where it's different, but take advantage of the extended daylight. You can get out. The people, ice cream shops, lemonade stands. My daughters and their friends are talking about lemonade stands. Yeah, getting rid of clutter for other people, right? The reason why spring cleaning happens is because light starts to stay light more. Daylight lasts longer. That's why you get a lot of spring cleaning, that energy. You got the sunshine coming through your house, and you don't want, sunshine coming in and shining on all the messiness that you have in your house, right? So provide organization services.
Man, it's ridiculous easy to get rid of clutter. I was thinking about all the stuff you were posting on, Facebook Marketplace and stuff. And I was thinking about a family member that does that. They do it for other people,
Yeah.
They do all right.
That's the way to make money, right? Just get a percentage of what you sell. Man, there's all kinds of little ways to improve your wallet. Yeah. And you just have to be willing to experiment, be willing to fail. I think that's probably the hardest aspect of all of it is just getting past the fear of failure and laziness, right? And it might not even be laziness. You may be truly exhausted, but it's just figuring out ways to conserve your energy, get in shape so you have more energy, so you can invest that energy into your finances, right? And so again, just little bitty things.
Or you could be a better employee.
Yeah, that too. Increase your wages that way. Get a raise. There's all kinds of little things that can be done. And yeah, I mean, that's how, necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah.
And so you just figure out what new needs are. COVID produced a lot of people. I know some people made millions off of COVID, particularly the tech companies. They make billions. But there were new services that popped up because a lot of services were no longer available. So again, just figure out what's going on in your particular region, your particular area, your neighborhood, or maybe even globally. We got computers. There's all kinds of ways to figure out what people need. Figure out what you need first, and then find people that are just like you. And if you have certain needs that may be direct, correlated to the work you do, then now you have an office full of people that you can hit up that will have those same needs. It's like, if I have this problem because I work at this place, then everybody else that works at this place has this same problem. And every company that is similar to my company, those employees have this same problem, right? So a lot of times, even from an investment standpoint, investors will invest in people that solve their own problems because they know it's real. So that's one way in terms of financially to.
So basically, looking for side hustles and that can possibly.
Yeah, and also not even just side hustles, but just think of investment opportunities that happen only in the summer, right? There's certain things that only happen in the summer, and a lot of times companies' revenues will increase because of summertime activity. So there may be an opportunity for you to invest in some particular types of companies. What those companies are, I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor, so I couldn't say
Right,
any.
right, right.
Yeah, but
We're just giving out
again,
ideas of
yeah,
which,
just think about seasonal companies that pop up or that make the majority of their revenue during the summer, and this may be an opportunity for you to invest in those companies if you can identify them before the summer comes.
yeah, you were making me think of. I had this. I was doing a job at this one client's house, and they had bought a ice cone. What are those cones? Those ice cone stands, those little miniature, small, like mobile ice cone stands. And they were you
Okay, I got
selling.
you. Like the icy, like the scrape where you
Yeah,
shaved ice kind of stuff.
yeah, shaved
Yeah, yeah,
ice.
yeah.
And they
Okay.
were doing that during the summer. That just popped in my head. I
Yeah,
see those things pop up seasonally. I was a contracted admin assistant, worked for 4 people working for myself.
yeah.
That's
It's a
nice.
new opportunity, right? Because a lot
Yeah,
of the majority of Americans, at least in America for sure, are working from home. So there's opportunities right there. Yeah, she said snow cones with flavor. That's what you're talking about, right?
yeah,
Okay.
stuck up. Yeah.
'Cause I was thinking ice cream cones initially. But yeah, so again, you see a need in the market and you provide the need. That's literally how you develop business. It's like, oh, there's a need in the market for this. I'm going to provide this need. Simple. And you just have to be open to seeing the opportunities when they come. And not only that is not only being open, but just being willing, right? A lot of people have ideas that go undone. It's like, man, if I did this, then boom. Because think about it, even at the beginning of the pandemic, we talked about
I
delivery
know.
services.
Yeah.
We talked about this, like that's going to be the thing. That's and delivery
That's the thing.
services
Yeah.
popped off, right? And so again, just taking advantage where you can and seizing the opportunities that present themselves. Opportunities won't make you take them. So you have to be willing to take them.
Hmm. You were making me think of like other investment opportunities and stuff too that's going on right now, and just being open and just keeping yourself in a place of curiosity and openness to be able to see all the opportunities that are happening every day. Um,
Yeah.
and just maintaining that abundance mindset, that's very essential and important. Going into not only the summertime but just any other time, every time, just
Yeah.
cultivating a mindset of abundance and realizing that you may miss opportunities, but there's always new opportunities every single day that you wake up. It's just the
And
world that we live
here's the
in
thing.
sometimes.
Here's the irony of that, right? It's like the Matthew 18 is those that have, I will give them more, and those
Yeah,
that don't, I'll take away. It's the way opportunities tend to work is that you get more opportunities when you take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you.
yeah, that's one of the things that people always say,
Yeah.
like, he's rich or she's rich. Why are they getting this? What's up
Yeah,
with that?
because they're just taking advantage of what's being presented. And the less you take advantage of opportunities that come your way, the less often they come. And so keep that in mind. When people say they're on a hot streak, no, it's because a lot of people they jumped in, right? They jumped into the opportunity zone, so to speak. And
Yeah,
so you have to be willing to jump in, and then you'll see different things come your way, right?
it's kind of like built in. Like there's two
Yeah,
cycles going. One is, the way that's in the way of the way
yeah,
that goes in line with the way of the design, the way the world's been designed. And then if you go against that, you experience frustration, pain, you experience negative things.
yeah. So they can apply in a variety of ways to a lot of different things.
Yeah,
And if you don't make yourself available to take advantage of those opportunities, like I said, they'll just dissolve, and you'll lose your vision to see them, right?
man,
Because
that's
they're
true.
always there. You'll just lose your vision, and vision is an exercise, is a muscle that you have to continue to exercise, right? Because the less you exercise it, the less you have. And that's with just about anything. So once you start doing that, it's like, oh, okay, what about this? And then you start seeing correlations across industries. You start seeing correlations in your own life. It's like, so just make sure that you take advantage of many opportunities that present themselves to you daily.
Cool. Well, that's all I got. Just wanted to come on and just have a conversation about, the summertime. I'm sure a lot of people's minds is geared up, towards that, and all the things that's involved in it. So I just want to talk about how to make the best of it, considering we're really just thinking about the pipeline situation. But even before that, the situation with the blockage of the canal, it's like one thing after another. It seems like so.
I miss most of it.
How can you miss it, man? Oh,
I just do, man. I just my focus is in the future, man.
Oh my goodness!
Like my dude said, I'm so focused on the future, I gotta press rewind. So
it's gonna affect your future. Well, that's what I'm here for. That's what your wife is there for. Like, hey,
exactly.
Man, so this headache's coming. You might want to get some aspirin.
That's why I have diversified friends.
All right, two shot guys and a mic. Just wanted to come on and just have a conversation about summertime and some principled things that we can do to have a fun and sizzling summertime.
Oh yeah! Before we forget, next week we'll be doing, what is that called? What are we calling it? Is it a podcast swap? Anyway, we'll be doing with More Than Graphics, Danielle and I'm great. Mess up some names because I'm terrible at names sometimes. Sorry about that. Yeah, in Sicily. So we'll have them on the show. We'll be partnering with them, and we'll be on their show the following week, or we'll be on their show next week, and then they'll be on our show the following week.
1 week. It's one of those.
Yeah, I'm terrible with details. I have to read the information. If it's not, I got to read what's in my calendar. But anyway, be on the lookout for that. We'll be on next week. We'll be live. There'll be two better looking people than us on the show with us. So we'll have that, and then the following week we'll be on the show with them once again. It may not be this podcast. We'll put out the deets. But anyway, we appreciate you guys. We'll give out the details. But anyway, we appreciate everybody that participated. Thank you for the comments, and we don't take it for granted.
Yep. Peace out.
Do the theme music, Kevin, on the way out.
What theme music?
Just mess with you.